Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and distinguished judges. We are a team of Alea iacta est from DW Hobby Secondary School. My name is May, and they are my team member. This is Chris, and Angie, Pietro, and Jaime. This is the agenda what we are going to share with you. We start from situation overview, recommendation, implementation, and conclusion. Let's talk about today's runway. We design a future runway that could exist 50 years, which is environmental, responsible, earth-conscious, incorporate indigenous perspective, and honors what is important to today's residents. As you know, this is today's runway. We focused on both of Langley City and Township. This is what analysis for strengths. There is a lot of unused land. For weakness, Langley Township is very spread out, so low population, so not good for transportation. For opportunity, replacing and redesigning the whole city by using new technology. For threat, it's difficult to coordinate Langley Township and Langley City. Now I'll let you, Pietro.
Thank you very much, May. Our team name, Alea iacta est, is a famous sentence from Julius Caesar, in English that I discussed. What he meant that his destiny to change Rome for the better was set, and so is ours to change Langley. I now will pass on to Chris for the recommendations.
All right, let's talk about the green condos. So, imagine a young couple who wants to start a family. As you can see from this graph, Canada has some of the highest housing prices in the world. So that means it's almost impossible for a young couple to afford a home to raise a family. As you can see from this graph, the price of single-family homes keeps rising as time goes on, but the price of condominiums stays quite stable. So this is why we decided to introduce condominiums to Langley, to have an affordable option for families. We will be using energy-efficient material when we build our condos. So that means energy that goes in the home to help heat or cool it doesn't get lost unnecessarily to the environment. It also means our family will find a cheaper energy bill at the end of the month. We will make sure our condo comes fit with the proper parking, places to charge electric cars, and spots for bikes and scooters, so our family will find it easier to use green transportation. We'll also use green heating technology such as geothermal to help heat and cool our condos in the summer and winter. And we'll also make sure all the water that gets used in the condos gets properly recycled for things like plumbing, but also watering gardens or fields. We will also be collaborating with Indigenous peoples to help bring Indigenous art to the people of Langley through our condominiums. They will help us bring art, and they'll also help us design the outside spaces of our condominiums. I will now pass it to Angie.
Thank you, Chris. So we plan to create a 15-minute cities with our condos where the first floor of each condos would be a store, a grocery store, or a small business. With a wide range of stores beneath our condos, this allows people to walk to their destinations without having to use their car. They can bike, they can walk, they can use an electric scooter, and it encourages healthy habits. With the long houses, we plan to have the community gather together, like teens, young adults, have a place where they can learn about the indigenous arts, or just a place to hang out. And with our population planning to rise, we will also include in our transportations like SkyTrains and bus. This allows the people to use less cars and produce less air pollution as a city. And then we know that school is a very important aspect of a city, so we will place them near public fields, gardens, and longhouses. And to keep the community safer, we will add in more police stations, fire stations, and hospitals. And now I will pass it on to Pietro.
Thank you, Angie. Let's now talk about their family that is going for a road trip. They stop for 5 minutes to a grocery to grab some sandwich, and they get a huge fine for parking in front of an island. Here we have the solution. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present you the Commons, a place to volunteer and grow crops and learn near the outside. With the volunteer card, you will be able to access fine deduction of $50 an hour with the website of Langley's. But the most important part of our project is that we're going to plant indigenous plantations, such as apple trees and berries. Here, elders from the community are going to be teaching their culture to youngs and to whoever is interested. Of course, there is going to be a safety training for everybody, and this mandatory safety course is still going to be counted towards fine deduction. All of this is to promote restoration instead of management. I will now pass on to Anja for the implementation.
Thank you, Pietro. Well, we divided our project in four different quarters. We will start with the agricultural reform. We decided to go first here so we can decide what is the most fertile land to plant or to make our public fields, so our fields are as effective as possible. After that, we will start laying down our condominiums. After that, we'll work in infrastructure and the transit, so the condominiums will have access to the basic needs such as electricity, water, sewage, and transit. Finally, we'll work with the public buildings. We decided to keep the current public buildings of Langley and improve them some way. And as our population grows, we will build more public buildings so every citizen has access to the basic needs. The conclusion is that thanks to our green condominiums, the 50-minute city, and the agricultural reform, we will have a less expensive and eco-sustainable, a closer with a better community and quality, better future Langley when you can live. Our city goals is to have public transit available to all citizens and a city that is happy and a healthy place to live and grow your family. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and thank you very much for listening.